Hey there, it's Ryan G. Wright here from DoHardMoney.com. And yesterday we got a phone call from a customer that actually lives in France. And I'm talking like Paris, France, like another country. And he's actually flipping a property that's here in the United States. If I remember right, it was in Illinois. So I think that's pretty interesting, right? So it made me start thinking about doing deals in other states, specifically wholesaling deals in other states. You see, there's a lot of real estate investors that are out there that are having a difficult time finding properties in their own market. For example, the market I'm in is really competitive. So the question is, what about doing stuff out of state? And you know, I started doing out of state deals as a lender. I was usually doing deals in my own state, and I started growing to some other states, and it was a little bit scary. I was a little bit worried. But one of the things that I actually found out is I did better as I invested in other states because I was less emotional. As I knew less, I had to rely on other professionals in the area to take a look at things and make the determination if it was really a good deal or not, rather than getting emotional about the situation. And so one of the things that you can do is actually wholesale properties out of state. It's probably the easiest thing you can do. And the reason is it's very low risk. When you're wholesaling a property, you don't actually have to close on the property. You don't even have to go past your due diligence deadline until you have found another buyer. So the whole concept here is you do some marketing, you find a property, and you put that property under contract. And this can be in a complete other state. Once you get that property under contract, you find some cash buyers, which means somebody that has purchased a property for cash in that same area. You can then contact those cash buyers and say, I have this house that I want to sell for less money than what you bought another property for around the corner. Would you be interested in buying it? And lots of times they are, because cash buyers want to buy more properties, or typically investors or fix and flippers or fix and hold rental type guys. And so you can actually do that. Well, here's the cool thing. This is the secret that most people don't think about, is when you're wholesaling, you just put the property under contract, and there's a few ways that you can get rid of that property. One is an assignment fee. An assignment fee basically means somebody's paying you to take over your contract. So you have the contract and you say, hey, give me $5,000, you take over my position in the contract, you close, I walk away with the $5,000, I walk away from the deal, which is really cool. Now let's say you didn't find somebody that wanted to buy your contract. Then you can go back to the seller and say, seller, I either A, need to renegotiate, or B, I need to cancel the contract. And if you do that before your due diligence deadline, you get your earnest money back, you're not out anything, there's no risk, as long as you do that before your due diligence deadlines and your contracts are written appropriately. Now, keep in mind there's multiple other ways to wholesale. This is probably the simplest if you're dealing with properties that are out of state. Again, do some marketing and find somebody that wants to sell. Get that property under contract. Find cash buyers that have bought properties in that area. Even if you haven't lived in that area, don't know anything about the area, you don't have to worry about seeing the property or getting inside of the property, because the new cash buyers you're working with will go and see the property. So you can actually do a virtual tour or a video tour with the seller, so you have an idea what the property is without ever seeing it. People do this all the time. They set up their marketing, they do the close over the phone where they pick up the phone and talk to the seller, and then they also have the seller take their cell phone and using Skype or using FaceTime or using Zoom, where they actually go through the property themselves. They send a virtual agreement out through a DocuSign or a Write signature. They sign that, then they do the marketing to find that cash buyer. The cash buyer goes and does their walkthroughs. They set an open house time with a seller where we can have multiple people coming through the property. So there's so much to this. If you'd like some more information, we have a whole bunch of stuff on wholesaling and how that works. If you want some of that information, check us out over at DoHardMoney.com and make it a very profitable day.